This is my Minmus lab module on its way to Minmus station, which is in a polar orbit about Minmus that you can see back there. So we're going to be dealing with that very, very shortly. I believe it is just about or has just entered into Minmus's sphere of influence. Also, at the end of the last stream, I had successfully ascended from Minmus's surface with the Minmus 5C, it says probe because it's actually just a sample container that's on its way back to Kerbin with a buttload of science, hopefully, that is going back to Kerbin's surface. So hopefully that will be more science. And it is a little, about almost an hour and 20 minutes away from exiting Minmus's sphere of influence. So we're going to have to go visit it. And on top of all that, we can't forget about Michael and Bob. I have this menu set right now on Minmus Station. Michael and Bob are on Minmus Station, and they are now at 52% and 53% of their lethal radiation dosage. So I would really kind of like to send them on their way back home. So those are all the things that we got to get to first. We're going to collect that science. We're going to go into the Research and Development Center and unlock some new nodes, hopefully making our way towards building something to go and wrangle some asteroids, because actually that's what I named this whole series. I should probably start trying to work in that direction. But in the meantime, are we in Minmus's SOI? It sure looks like we are. So let's set up our, focus this on Minmus. There is Minmus Station. Here's our trajectory. I'm actually pretty pleased with that. Maybe a smidge southwards. I'm got the ship pointing due north right now. So if I put on RCS, what happens if I just give a little puff there? I want the periapsis just to be touching. Actually, what I should do, set the station as a target here. There we go. That looks pretty good. So I want to get myself a capture, rendezvous with the station, dock with the station. You can see there's a bit of a plane change I gotta finagle as well. But let's get started with our capture first, because once you get your capture, everything else becomes, you know, you can take your time and everything like that. So let's see. We'll bring. Oh, that was clearly way too much. Push this outwards. Now we're gonna have to make a plane change, and the best place to make the plane change is far away from, so out here towards Apoapsis, far away from. The slower you're going, the cheaper that plane change is going to be. That's fine. That's probably pretty good. Let's see if we can just tweak ourselves a rendezvous at the same time. I can see the indicators aren't too far separated, so which way do I gotta go here? Oh, I need more. Need more oomph. Oh, when they don't move, if you're moving the orbit but these don't move, that means that your maneuver is just before this close encounter indicator, so I just need to push ahead a second. I think did they jump? Nope. And push ahead another second here. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, now we can start tweaking this. Maybe this way. Yeah, there we go. And of course I want this encounter to be as close as I can get it. Even though we still do have to make a little bit. There we go. 100 meters, 0.1 kilometer there separation. So we're going to do this. We're going to do this capture. Up here we're going to make the plane change and maintain this rendezvous, and then we'll meet up with the station. So that burn is coming up. Here, turn the RCS off. That burn is coming up when? In 2 hours and 34 minutes. So I'm going to add him an new alarm for that. Give me about 5 minutes warning. Oops. This is the button for adding the alarm is, I gotta move there. There we go. So we're gonna have to get back to Minmus C in just a little bit. It's a 10-second burn. That's all right. Let's reduce thrust a little bit. There we go. Okay. So let's get to the Minmus 5C probe. We'll jump out to that. All right. So this is this. This has got should have all kinds of materials bay and mystery goose science aboard that we're returning to Kerbin. I probably don't have to be with it when it... I'm just more comfortable when I cross SOIs to actually be with the vessel, because sometimes goofy things can happen to trajectories and stuff when you make the SOI change. Okay, alarm clock's about to tell me that. And we're still a little under a minute. Let's just finish this off. All right, let's check our trajectory with Kerbin. Well, I can look up here, actually. Our periapsis is 34.3. I think that's perfectly fine. I think that should work out pretty well. This thing does have a heat shield on it, so all that's going to come back to Kerbin, actually, is just this little piece of it. There's a heat shield under here. So let's set up another alarm for... that up again. Periapsis, and... according to Kerbal, oh, I don't have it. Time to atmosphere is 6 days, 3 hours. So let's give myself 15 minutes warning before we hit periapsis. That should still be well out of the atmosphere. Yep, there we go. So in 6 days, 3 hours, and 31 minutes, this guy's going to be getting ready to go into the atmosphere. Right now, though, it's perfectly fine. So we're going to go back to our lab module. Jump back to that ship. All right, let's open up KOS because it's going to perform that burn for us. And let's get down to that burn. Boom, let's go. Oh, that's the alarm clock turning it off, of course. You can still get a little closer than this. Close that alarm. Go again. Okay, and we will run our maneuver executor, and that should take care of everything here. One thing that's kind of funny, there's a notification up here. I'm not quite sure when this appeared, but it's saying here that I have a contract complete, and this is the launch my first space station contract, which I find a little bit funny that that came out complete. Even though this is actually a module that's going on to my second space station, so it's all a little bit silly on that end. But the contract was simply to build something that could house 2 Kerbals and have the lab module on it. And it got satisfied as soon as I put this thing into orbit, because it can be 2 Kerbals fit in there and it has the lab module. So the contract that this is meant to fulfill has already been fulfilled, even though I'm not at the station yet. All right, here we go. And I got Jeff K with a question. First time viewer, but I have a question. Why would you not make the change at the ascending node marker? I think I can answer that question as soon as this burn is done, if I'm following it right. Okay, so there we go. Our burn is complete. Let's see how this turned out. Take away the maneuver. We got 0.6 kilometers. I'm perfectly happy with that. So we're going to come around here and come very close to the station, but our plane is very different. And the question was, why can't you make the plane change here? And the answer to that question is because I'll be going a lot faster here, and the faster you go, the more expensive your plane change is going to be. Now, it actually can get a little more complicated than that, because if I make the plane change at the same time I'm doing the rendezvous, then I'll be burning a little bit, I guess it would be this way, whatever that way is. But it'd be one of the normal vectors, anti-normal, and retrograde to make the maneuver. And when you combine burns like that, you actually, the Pythagorean theorem is what's used to combine the delta V's of those burns, and that sometimes can be cheaper. So sometimes it's cheaper to combine burns, sometimes it's cheaper to do it out here. I'm going to do it out. I'm guessing that it's cheaper to do it out here. Definitely if this were something like the moon, it'd be cheaper to do it out here. It does vary a little bit. If this were a very small change, I would make the change at the AM. But I'm going to make it way out here because I'll be going a lot slower this should be a pretty cheap burn. So I want to select there. I got a 40.5 degree change to make. And that's going to be mostly normal. Which way? That's making it smaller. There we go. And it's also going to have some retrograde parts to it as well, because I also want to keep that rendezvous there. So I'm watching this angle of 6.7. I don't know. It was 16.7. I'm not sure. You can see. And also the close encounter bit of it. So we'll do that. And then a little retrograde. It's my angle at, oh my gosh, it's so hard to see. 8.4. All the numbers are right on top of each other. A little more normal. A little more retrograde. 2.2, a little more normal, a little more retrograde. Oh, the AN and the AN and the DN swapped. The AN's now up here, so I went too far. So I've got to come back. A little more prograde. So 0.5 degrees. Okay, now we're closing in on it, so we're going to reduce the scale of this a bit. This way. A little more progrades. So we're playing around. Want to get the AN. I'm doing progrades and normals. So now that I got it like this, if you do the normal part, notice how that moves kind of where the encounter is. I might be fiddling too much with it, to be honest. Let's get the encounter really close together. Come on, you should be able to get maybe a little bit of radialness. Yeah, radial's working. I think I might live with that. So that is a separate closest approach of 0.1 kilometers. Our angle change will only be 0.6. So I can do the rendezvous there. And it is a 36 meter per second burn for that big plane change. So let's get out to that. Here, let's run our alignment. It might have been cheaper to go the other way. To be honest, Minmus is pretty forgiving. So it might not be worth the while to fiddle with it all too much. Okay, let's get out here. Let's put the let's put the view on free. I always find this works better for me. And let's get out to that maneuver. Actually, let's reduce our throttle a bit too. I noticed the burn was only 4 seconds. There we go. 15-second burn. My executor does better if the burn is not that long. Okay. Run again that maneuver executor. And next stop, Minmus Station. Actually, we can keep track of... Here's our closest approach to Minmus Station. It's in 1 hour and 44 minutes. That will be changing as soon as this burn gets executed, but hopefully not changing too much. There it goes. All right. What, when you accidentally getting comments? I hate it when I accidentally cancel the maneuver. Yeah. You can spend a lot of time just fiddling with maneuvers. It's easy to get stuck into that little trap. Okay, our closest approach here is 116 meters. We're there in 1 hour and 41 minutes. So I don't even know if I want... Do I want to play with that? Do I want to get out the RCS? Do a little bit of a... That made it worse. Oh, 82 meters. Not that it matters all that much, to be honest, but if you can do that almost for free, why not? Okay, again, we'll orient this for solar panel exposure. And we're going to do a little bit of time warping. I'm going to do a quick save because I never trust my time warping. Okay, looks good. Delete that. That probably don't need that anymore. So let's just get down there. So 1 hour and 41 minutes. About 20 minutes away now. Oh, there's a station below us. I can see it. We're going to stop the time warp at about 5 minutes. Okay, let's put this on retrograde. It's switched over to the target. Our relative velocity with the target's only 33 meters per second. That is nice. So we should be able to stop pretty easy. Maybe up the thrust here a little bit. All right, and then we'll also look at getting our friends home. I'm going to turn off alarm clock here. All right. About 4 minutes still from the station. I can get myself closer. Does the orbiting gravity body contribute to the amount of fuel used in these types of plane changes? The answer to that is absolutely yes. The more massive the orbiting body is, the faster your orbital velocity will be, and the more expensive plane changes are. And my orbital velocity is only 170 meters per second because it's Minmus, and it's a very, very light body. But if this were the moon or if this were Kerbin, things get more expensive. Okay, I'm going to start slowing down here just a little bit, I think. Oh, maybe, yeah, let's slow down just a little bit. Maybe start trying to push that retrograde icon around too, and trying to minimize the... Whoop. Okay, that's too much. Back this way. I'm just knocking off velocity. Trying to keep my closest approach pretty tiny. There we go. That's 28 meters closest approach. About 2.5 minutes. Velocity is now under 20 meters per second, so we can get a lot closer. Oh, we're getting a camera funkiness because we're going over a pole. All right, we're about 45 seconds away. Coming up quick. I most certainly want to slow down. You really want to watch that time to intercept, because it's really easy to come up too quick. So you want to watch your speed, and you want to watch especially this time. As long as you can keep that time from getting down to 0, you're going to be okay. But as soon as you find you're at full thrust and this time to intercept is still going down, you're going to, well, hopefully just blow by the station. At worst, you're going to crash right into it. Get ourselves closer here. You can always time warp to speed things along. Never be afraid to do a little time warping. Okay, and then we got to think about where we're going to dock this thing. Well, let's slow right down here. Come on. I'm going to get this right down about 0.5 meter per second or so. There we are. Okay, we're going to control from here. And let's switch over to this. I like this docking port, so I'm going to select that. Pin that over to here, bop back to here, set that as a target, and I can see now that I need to, which way? Yeah, go downwards. Oh my gosh. That way. I can do this. Okay. Let's orient this into its docking orientation. I got Navball docking alignment indicator, which does gives me this lovely little target icon here, the little red one, and that helps me get the planes of the two docking ports aligned. We'll take this way a bit. Is that the way I want it? No, one little more, another 90. I'm looking at these lights here. I want those lights to light up the station a little bit. It needs to be this way. Okay. And I'm thinking the alignment here is pretty good. A little upwards. You want to get a line between your ship, that little retrograde icon, and the target icon, which I'm just seeing on the edge of the Navball. I also want to make sure I'm below the station. The fact that it's retrograde is telling me I'm still going down relative to, well, down on the screen relative to that docking port. Which I think is the direction I want to go. I don't need this no more. We can aim our camera up here at the top too, gives us a bit of a better view. Let's get a little closer. Okay, I'm starting to see the prograde icon, the prograde the target icon coming up here on the side. That represents this docking port. So we are moving towards it, but what I'm going to need to do is just start going upwards a bit. And this, I don't know if you can see it, there is a bit of a prograde icon there. I think it's looking pretty good. There we go. So the prograde icon, of course, is telling you which way you're moving. So we are moving towards the target, which is what we want. I think this is looking pretty good. I think I should be able to just kind of herd this in. Hopefully everything will go well. I'll just kind of follow that along with my prograde icon. As this target icon gets closer this way, I'll just follow it. Maybe go a little bit forward. Yeah, that's better. I don't think I was really going forward that much. And docking, to me, still docking is, I so enjoy docking. It is definitely one of my most favorite things to do. As long as you got a little bit of an interface to kind of help you out, but up. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on. You want it. There you go. That is great. Okay, RCS is off. Good. We got a lot of engines on. Let's start shutting down engines. So we'll shut down that engine. Shut down that engine. There we go. What engine is this one? That's the engine on the lander. Let's shut that down. Last thing I need to do is to hit, and that's the engine on, yeah, let's shut all the engines down for now. Okay, so I think that's looking pretty good, but what I want to do next is get, as I mentioned, Michael O and Bob back to Kerbin